All right, what you doing?
Making breakfast burritos because your race car is supposedly fixing to be here. I'll believe it when it comes in the driveway.
There's a police trying to get me. I'm a bad guy.
So I'm fixing to go down to our gate, open it, turn it off, away you can get up in here.
All right, folks, beautiful morning. It is almost 7 a.m. Saturday morning. We just got word that the transport truck, the hauler, the shipper, is about to pull up with her new car. We're trying to get him directions on in here, but we thought he was here. It's a little early for this mullet to be at its full potential here this morning.
Do what?
I said it's a little early for this mullet to be at its full potential this morning, but that's what he's got. It is kind of chilly. That's a good thing.
She's in there.
Right? Don't worry, we're videoing because we're YouTubers, but we'll edit.
No, you're fine.
We'll edit a lot of it.
You're fine. You'd be surprised how much that actually does help. Really? Yeah. Especially getting new cars.
It's here.
What is it?
It is a 2018 MB Custom.
What?
War Shots by Cade Dillard. Extremely excited.
You don't seem like it. You just kind of, it's a MB Custom. I'm just picking on you.
Yeah.
That's your tone, I know. But I had to do it because some people have picked on you before about, hey, could you get more excited?
Who said that?
That woman that time said her husband watches and it's...
And I was rather boring.
That's what she said.
I'll blow something up in front of her.
Get some tannerite.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll put
Yeah.
a fridge up there with some
We'll put a bottle of tannerite under the front of this thing and shoot at it.
What?
Oh, that ain't what you talking about blowing up?
Not this.
Huh.
Man, I like how stiff this bore is. They
Well,
got
it's
braces
sharp,
going
buddy.
all the way down.
So, we're gonna put it up on the rack and we're just gonna look at it.
Oh, damn.
Nick Bittinger, he's straight up dude. So far, so good. Everything's everything he said it was gonna be. Really nice piece. Special thanks to Mom for finding this rig with Cade Dillard. Cade put her on it. Mom pulled the trigger, and here it is.
Yep, and we are fixing to be on the phone with Cade a lot more.
Yeah.
So, Cade,
Yeah,
if
we're
you're watching this,
we're
we
definitely-
apologize in advance.
I'm Chavus. This is Chase, and you're gonna know us soon because we fixing to
We're
be.
fixing to be calling a lot.
Yeah. So we're excited. Like I said, we're MB Customs now. We are gonna run the Hughes this last race next week over at Deep South Speedway in Loxley, Alabama. But here's the new piece y'all all been waiting for.
Y'all look at his steering wheel before you.
Let's see what you got.
He left the steering wheel in here. Look at that.
Woo, woo. You know what it's missing?
Orange tape.
Tape.
But he's got a little.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna do.
That ain't
You
do
gonna
me.
look for that on the track?
I'm gonna have an orange tape line right there.
All right. That's a fine steering wheel.
Yeah.
You ain't never had nothing that nice.
No. Y'all just until here recently, y'all just
Nice. There she is. There's the person that made it happen.
Me? Oh, thank you very much. I'd like to thank all my sponsors.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mommy.
Oh, the steering wheel game
You
with
want to
it?
touch it?
No, I'm
The
good.
steering wheel looks big. All right, so I just got in trouble
Man,
Because-
you got a problem.
because I'm getting really excited. Everything that I'm looking at. I mean, this thing's
This
nice.
is a real race car.
It really is. It's really nice. And look, let me be clear here. I'm not taking a shot. We're not taking a shot at anybody.
No.
You know,
We just
put
ain't
yourself
never
in
had
our
nothing new.
spots. Put yourself in our position. This is the newest race car we've ever had since we've been racing, and we're excited about it. So everything that oh, look at this, look at that. That's not saying anything was junk. We had a 2013 car. We started with a 03,
Yeah,
04
and
Shaw.
04 Shaw.
And it was
It's as
very
old as
nice,
me.
and it did us a fine job. And then we moved up to a 2013, and it was like a spaceship when we got it. Well, this thing here looks like it should be in Area 51 over there on full lockdown with military protection. I mean, this thing here has all the gadgets, and we're excited about it. And you know, y'all gonna be like, what tell me what it is, Chavus, what it is? All right, look right here. And all y'all, these street stocks probably had that. Look at that. It's got that push button built in here, bump starter for when I'm adjusting the valves. Right now I'm hooking wires up to my starter down there and boom, boom, boom. You know, and you're probably like, oh, I thought it had something. Well, it does. To me, that is something right there. Just the quality, the craftsmanship of the car, very, very nice. Nothing appears to be bent. Everything, it's just well built. Very, very well built car. And it's a nice piece. Nick did a good job cleaning everything up. It got real dirty on the ride, but that, you know, that's to be expected. I'm excited. Very, very excited. And Chase is too. We're gonna have a great year, and we really appreciate each and every one of y'all.
And if you would like your name on a 2018 MD Custom,
Piloted by the young gun, Chase Holland.
all you gotta do is ask.
Yeah, because I can tell you,
It's gonna take
we're
a lot
fixing
of money and
you look, we got a lot of stuff going on here, but there's a lot of stuff that we need to make this thing comparable to what we're racing against. And we're going to do the best we can, but any little bit helps. And
I told him earlier, I said, we're going to be broke by the end of next season.
Dude,
we
broke right now, so we're going to be in the poorhouse by next season.
Yeah,
but I can't complain because we've had a lot of sponsors step in.
People show up.
Man, we've had some really good stuff going on, and I'm excited. I am very excited.
Have to get the stuff out in just a minute, clean that.
The Lucas polish on
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a list of questions and things y'all wanted to know about us right here.
That's exciting, man.
Yeah, I know.
People actually care what we have to say. That's
Yeah.
scary.
And they care. Did your dad race at one point? Yeah, they care about you too.
If you want to open that up.
Well, let's start off with this because this is one that we've been asked probably about 5 times now.
Hang on. Don't mean to interrupt you, but looking at you just reminded me of one.
Oh, how did a mullet?
How has a mullet affected your life?
Dramatically.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay.
It's for the better. I promise you. Make mullets great again 2021. That's what we're going for.
Edit that out. Your haters will be, oh,
Who cares?
Anyway.
Where did the 45 come from?
Good question.
Well, my pawpaw drove a number 45 at one point,
Yeah,
which
Uncle
I mean
Wallace.
that doesn't. Oh, Uncle Wallace did. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wallace Allen drove a number 45, but whenever we started kart racing, whenever I was like 4 or 5, I liked number 24 because of Jeff Gordon, and I liked the number 4. And that's what I wanted to be, but every other kart racer out there was one of those 2 numbers.
Yeah.
Like everybody, even grown men, that was their number. So y'all wouldn't let me have that, and y'all came up with 45. And one of the reasons past them having it was because I got a go-kart when I was 4, and I had my first. I was going to be my first race at 5, so that was 45, and that's why we're the number 45 today. How much does it cost to race a car one season on average?
One of these cars you're talking about.
Yeah.
That can be way up
Depends.
here or kind of down here. because you can spend as much as you want to spend on a race car. It's a race car.
Yeah, and it's yours.
It costs money to go fast.
How fast do you want to go?
And that's the bottom line. You don't have to have everything brand new, the greatest, but it's nice.
We have 2 new tires on at every racetrack.
Yeah.
That we go
Feature
to.
race, if we roll out with used tires on the back, we broke.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Something.
And we've done that one time this season, and we
With
we
money's
regret that.
tight, yeah.
Well, not necessarily that. We had the money to get the tires, but we decided to race. It was when Zach decided to open up Outlaw.
Yeah.
And we
didn't
last
have
minute,
time to
yeah.
grab some tires.
So we didn't have any.
Yeah.
Or we would have had 2 new tires on less
Do
than
you have to have 2 new tires to roll
No,
out? No,
no.
you do not. So again,
It's
it's
up to
one
you.
of those things with racing, and I found this to be, I stick to this. The more you do to prepare for racing, the more you put on your plate for next week to do. I mean, we went through a stage where I thought our tires were growing and it was throwing our setup out, so we started nitrogen in our tires where the tires
and
wouldn't
that
grow
was
as
a
much.
nightmare.
Man, it was a job. You had to vacuum the tire out, put nitrogen in it.
And at the end of the day, did it really?
It did. I have noticed that our tires, if you look at them, they're like
They
this.
weren't crowned.
And they weren't. After the nitrogen, they were flat, and now they're crowned after a real hot heat cycle, and it keeps the heat down, or it don't keep the heat down. The heat expands the air and makes the tire crown. And if you got nitrogen in it, it didn't do that. It didn't grow, so the tire didn't grow and didn't affect the setup.
So
Anyway,
once you own a race car, you own a race car. It's got a motor. It's got everything on it. Tires, oil change, and this is just us. We change oil every 2 to 3 races. Methanol. We run methanol. We burn probably about the same amount as other people in gas and on race gas. But you
maybe
gotta buy
2 or 3 gallons more
difference.
per week.
Yeah. So we got to buy a drum of fuel almost every 2 to 3 races. And front end parts on a modified, especially. I don't know about anything else, but a front end piece has always been at the end of every race, pretty much.
Even when we don't hit nobody, we're like, dang, we got a bent tie rod. We got
Crazy.
this,
Yeah.
frames hitting the tie rod in or something. It's always
So there's no money cap, but I can just tell you that we probably spend $1,000 to $1,200 just in parts every 2 to 3 weeks on a race car.
That's fair to say. That's not counting entry fees and
Correct. That's
and
just
travel
race
and-
car.
It's an expensive hobby.
But when you got
We've
the
been
sponsors,
blessed to have the sponsors back us up, and that's the other thing. When we started, we didn't have the sponsors. Tires went a lot further back then. We stretched a lot of things out and repaired a lot of stuff, and now we're able to buy new to replace things, and we try to pass on our good stuff to people that were like us 2 years
Correct.
ago. Like our tires, we sell our tires used to people that are already grooved, they're grinding, and I feel like that's helping it.
Right.
That's tires we would have ran 2 years ago.
and they're not good to us anymore, so they're just sitting out there.
Right.
So
We
we
try to-
get them out of here.
We try to pass it on and help
Right.
other racers
So,
out.
$1,000, $2,000,
Yeah, that's-
somewhere in every
Yeah.
for us.
In
So,
a modified,
correct.
I'd say that's, yeah.
Did your dad race? Did you race?
I did race. I started racing when I was 15. I raced a 4-cylinder modified, is what it was called. Pinto with a Pinto motor, and I sucked. I'll just be honest with you. I did the best I could do. I broke every weekend, and that's what led me to be who I am today with him. Is I made a commitment when he started racing. I remember how I was, and looking in my adult years, I look back at my younger years. I didn't know any better when I was his age. That's just what I did. Okay, we'd do the same thing, go break every weekend, do the same thing, and it was just a cycle. Well, as I got older, I was like, man, you did this, why'd you do? And then I started building cars and helping other people, and we won a lot of races together, not with me driving, but with other people. And I have got behind the wheel of some of the cars I drove and did fairly well, only a time or two here or there. But when he got into go-kart racing, I made a commitment that I was going to give him the best equipment that I could afford. and I've done that, and
It shows.
I try not to leave here half-cocked. I try to do things right. I aggravate him sometimes because a lot of times I'll be working on the car and I'll see something, I'll say, I gotta fix that. And he's like, no, just leave it. That's been like that. If I know something's wrong, I'm fixing it.
Well, not necessarily that it's even wrong. It's just not. It's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's
yeah.
wrong to you.
And
so,
that's
yeah.
what I'm looking. And there's been things that I let go that cost us, and it's rare, but it does happen.
It happens, and he learns from it, and it makes him even.
So
it's
anyway,
10 times
yes,
worse.
I did race, and I feel like my experience in racing when I was a young man made me a good crew chief to him, and it's put him in some really good equipment, the best I can afford anyway. So.
And we've done really good with what we have, and I'm super grateful and thankful for what I have. On top of that, he raced and he built cars. He built 2 or 3 of them, but I mean,
several.
and
I built
actually
several.
one of them still around. 2 of them still
winning
around.
races. Yeah.
Tim Dillon had it for a while and did really good with it. And Bubba Trotter's got another one that we've been trying to buy back.
Yeah, I tried to buy it back.
We want it back.
It was going to be his original car that he started racing, and I sold it, decided to get into modifieds, and here we are. But I want it back, so.
Bubba, if you're watching this, we want it.
Yeah.
Well, we're tapped out, but.
Yeah.
While we're on that, what made you start YouTube?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody
Sounds like
from our family.
Yeah,
asked it.
like maybe Avery asked that question. That's a good one. What did make you start YouTube?
If I'm just being honest, and it sounds bad, hunt the front. I mean,
What's bad about that?
Well, because we're copying in a sense that Hunt the Front made us want to do it.
All right, let me stop you there. Hunt the Front, when I found them, they were writing articles. And I was writing articles.
Right.
I wrote our articles for a magazine. They were writing an article called Hunt the Front. And I love that because I'm one of them people, you wouldn't think it, but I read a lot. And I read their article and I could really get into it, and it reminded me of what we were doing. And I've always wrote about his go-kart racing and sent emails to our people. Anyway, we found them. They were writing, I was writing, and we started talking about videoing, and they started videoing. And we watched them grow really fast, and we actually met them. They were still small. We met them at the Street Stock Nationals in 2019, or would it have been 18? I don't know.
It was 18.
But we met Jonathan. I don't think we met Joseph. We met Jonathan, and Mr. John was in the trailer that day. We went up to buy hats, and they were. It was
sold
funny.
out.
He brought a box of hats, and they sold all of them before we could get there.
And they had, at that point, what we have now in subscribers. They weren't
but
like what
I
they
still
are now.
look back now and I laugh because Jonathan at that time was like, man, I brought a whole thing of hats and we sold out of them. Now he probably brings a trailer load of hats and sells out of them. So I think that's cool. But those guys, from the time we met them, was as real as you see them in the video. Really good people. Since then, we've met Joseph, we've met Jonathan.
Jesse.
And Jesse. And man, they are really good. They've actually helped us at Southern over there.
They've given us shout outs.
Yeah.
Joseph's helped us on setup.
On gearing at Loxley. I mean, they have been a tremendous help, and I consider them friends. I like to go see them when they're, and I like their wives. They're all really good people. They really are. And so yes, are we copying them? I guess you could say that, but we try. It's hard for me to watch their videos because I don't want to copy them. I don't want to see something and then turn around and do it, and in my mind feel like I copied them.
Right.
So I try to. I love them and I still watch them, but I don't like focus on everything they do because I don't want to feel like I'm copying them. So we try to do our own thing, and I hope they respect us for that and don't feel like we're trying to, I'm not trying to be them. I really respect what they do, though. They're
So
good people.
all in all, we watched Hunt the Front, gathered information from them, and it encouraged us because we were already racing. But I told him earlier, probably yesterday, that I wish we'd have done it whenever I was 14 years old and got into it because I work just as hard now as I did when I was 14 years old. But at 14 years old, I didn't know the things that I know now.
Right, I agree.
I was still really young, and I wish y'all could have seen, because it wasn't, and I'm not bragging by any means, but I'm in the top 5 to top 10 every race now.
And we're talking about a kid that didn't know how to pop a pop rivet, didn't know how to break a tire down off of a wheel. Yeah, I know you still struggle, but there's a lot of things that have I've watched him develop, and that's.
And our mentalities have changed. It went from, man, if we could just finish the race, to, man, if we can just finish in the top 10, to, man, just the top 5 with these guys is something, to now, I mean, we're having fun regardless, but a win is what we're in search of. Every time we hit a racetrack, a win is what we want. And I know you're supposed to, regardless of whenever you start out or where you're at now, but, you know, we got into a lot of wrecks with other people.
Man, we did.
And other people's stuff, and that sounds
If somebody was wrecked, we ended up in it. But when you trying to compete,
just trying to learn,
you up in there. And a lot of people say, oh, you got to drive past your front bumper. When you're up in here like this, and all of a sudden they're crossed up, and it's just we called the bad end of a lot of stuff like that, and we.
But we learned from it,
like
and on top of that, this race car right here. This isn't what we started out in.
Oh my goodness.
That isn't anything close to what we started out in. We started out in a car that was as old as me.
Yep.
And worked our way up.
When we got it, it needed a lot of stuff. It needed, like me and Pawpaw was just laughing when we pushed this up on the rack. He said, you remember when our first car? When we got ready to push it on the rack, we couldn't even push it because all the brake calipers were locked up. They were froze up, and we couldn't even push it on the rack. So it just, everything had to be redone. And by the time we finished the season with it and sold it to Travis Marsh, it was a good car.
Right.
It outran us last time we was that deep south. It's still a good car.
It's still a good car.
But we started at the bottom and made it a good car. Travis apparently is keeping it a good car. We moved up to this car, which was a super good car.
But the ultimate thing here is we didn't start out with the best, and I wish y'all could have seen our progress.
Yeah, that would.
Because a lot of people that know us locally know that we didn't start out in a 2018 MB Custom, and we didn't have a 24-foot enclosed trailer. We used to pull.
We had my pickup truck with a 16-foot flat deck trailer.
The first 4 times I ran.
That we hauled that car on, and tools just in the back of the truck. And then we moved to that little trailer that I built or rebuilt, and that was a fine little rig. And then we grew into this enclosed. So we've made steps, and I'm with Chase. I wish y'all could have seen every bit of that, but I'm glad y'all are here from
here on
now
out. Because looking back now, we're probably gonna say, man, this is a show pony, but it's nothing compared to what we have now.
Right. Yeah.
So you know. It's really amazing to see somebody start from the bottom and go up.
Yeah. It's been a fun ride. I've enjoyed doing it with you.
And I've learned a lot more.
I'm going to say this as a dad, and I'm going to brag on you. I'm proud of you. I really am. You've done a good job.
So I guess while we're on that, how did I start racing? Well, you bought some amusement park go-karts.
Yes, I did.
At my Peepaw's shop. And every day after daycare, I would get on that go-kart, and I'd make lap after lap after lap after lap after lap. That was my punishment. They would take my go-kart away from me for a while.
And when he says lap after lap, I'm telling you, I filled it up with gas, and he would run it till it run out of gas.
And get it
refilled. I'm talking 200-300 laps in this little parking lot.
Just making circles.
Around cones with a little helmet on, just thinking he was doing something. And I was like, man, I thought you'd get burned out. And he didn't. I mean, that's all he wanted to do. And I was like, well, he likes this stuff, and that's good because I like it. So.
And I mean, I was always at a racetrack. I mean, y'all had real cars because that's when you were building them. But I was pushing toy cars in the dirt while y'all were racing real stuff. So I've always been around it. I got my first go-kart when I was 3. I didn't get a real go-kart. I had the amusement park go-kart until I was 3. When I was 3. When I was 4, I got a real racing flat cart. And from then on, I raced flat carts, won a championship, was working on another one, and we got into it with some parents and things, and it just wasn't fun no more.
No.
The fun was taken out of it, so we took a break. We got into the little junior champ carts that had the little roll cages. We raced him for a minute, got burnt out on that, quit racing. Then we
Built
got
a house. I mean,
Yeah.
you make it sound like we just got away from racing. We had a lot of stuff going on.
They
that
were
are-
building businesses,
Yeah,
building houses.
We sure were.
So
yeah.
yeah, we've been in and out
Having
of
more
it.
kids, you got two
Yeah,
sisters.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that's happened over the years, and we're just now to where we can race
We
again.
can race.
And we do it as a family, as y'all know, and that's what's up with the motor home, where we can all go together and enjoy it.
But
I'm living my best life.
Well, I am
Yeah.
too. But we had a junior kart and we went to a senior champ. There were only like a handful of them. It wasn't fun to race because there was the same 4 karts there. So we bought a Bandelero because that's where all the other kids were. But at that point, I was like 11 and they were all 8-year-olds. So for once in my life, I was the
big
old,
kid,
yeah,
yeah.
I was a big kid in a little kid class. And that was a mess. And that brings me to one of these. How did you cheat on a Bandelero carburetor? We need to ask our competition, huh?
Yeah.
That ain't something for us. We ran probably, you bought me a brand new one, and we probably raced it 8 times.
I bought the engine from the racetrack, a sealed engine with the carburetor, everything on it, from the racetrack. And it was your Christmas present one year.
Yep.
And we come out racing, winning races, and got protested one night in the tech shed, and they tried to throw us out on the carburetor, and I protested the protest, and they sent the carburetor off, and the carburetor was legal. And
But you did start some stuff the week before. You
I've
posted.
been known to start some
He
stuff.
baited them up, and
I told him, I put a post on Facebook because I knew they
him
was all
rapping on a
following.
little Bandolero carburetor motor, and
Special
said,
thanks to Bullet Racing Carbs or something.
Yeah.
This thing's responsive, and I had done nothing. We were just
Yeah.
ready to go racing. I was like, I'm gonna mess with some people. And son,
They-
they come
they-
after us that night with they made a tool to check
What's
my
bad is
carburetor.
we were running second to a boy
Yeah.
that we know
Yeah.
was
Well, we knew that night because they brought me over to show me in his carburetor. Look, this thing don't fit down in there. And I was like, yeah, well, look how polished his is. There's your cheating carburetor. But they didn't want to hear that because they were head hunting. Anyway, they tried to throw us out.
Yeah, the boy
Bottom
led
line,
half of the race
I
and then fell
protested
back.
their protest. They sent my carburetor off to North Carolina or wherever. INEX Racing. We got the letter back saying that we were legal and all's good. And we just had to move on because you can't beat a sour tech man. Once you got him mad at you, that's
the end of
I mean, he was going to find something.
So don't ask us, ask our opponents. In other words, so this comes to what is my career plans and what do I want to drive in the future. My career plans, I've done told every teacher at school and anybody that's asked that I want to be a race car driver. But in reality, you know, it takes money to own a race car, and
it takes a little bit.
Mama and Daddy ain't always gonna pay for my stuff.
Right.
So I've got to figure out how I'm gonna pay to get to the racetrack. So we've been looking into it, and I either want to be, or actually, I'm gonna go for 2 classes. I'm gonna go and get a CNC machinist trade school degree, and I'm gonna have all of that, and then I'm gonna have a diesel mechanic degree also. And on top of that, I've got a little bit of welding experience, and I'm gonna learn more from you.
Yeah.
You laughing now?
Well, because of our video.
Yeah, I ain't no rookie.
Yeah.
I can burn a rod or two and
Yeah.
melt some wire.
Right on, bro.
So I'm gonna be able to do a little bit of everything.
That's good.
So I don't really have a specific thing that I'm gonna do other than drive race cars. I know that regardless of what I'm doing, I will own a race car or drive for somebody. But on top of that, what do I want to drive in the future? I've told you multiple times, when I can drive a super late model, I've done it. That's where I'm headed. That's when I can consistently be in the top 5 in a super late model,
Yeah.
then
Well, the road is starting to get paved to where you're trying to go with this right here. Because,
Yeah.
man, y'all have opened so many doors.
man,
The more we
so
grow,
many people have found us
Man.
and met us and helped us.
between the writing in our articles that opened up, some of the people originally,
local people.
to now we're reaching a wider fan base, and it's bringing in more people, and it's just, we have been blessed. I mean,
We have
there's
been.
no doubt about it.
You guys are
excited.
awesome.
I'm
There's
excited
nothing.
about what's to come, because there's a lot going on. And if you're sitting there wondering how to support us or what you could do, just little things, man.
Man, messages. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing.
We
We
enjoy
love
that.
talking to y'all.
We
I
do.
mean,
We do. We enjoy the messages and comments and
I've got a guy that said that he wants to talk to me about painting my helmet. We
Yeah.
need to call him if
Follow
nothing
up,
else.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I may not, but at the same time, he said I'd love to talk to you guys. So we're gonna call you eventually, probably
Yeah.
whenever racing
Yeah.
season's over with and we aren't running around wide open. But
Speaking of calling people, we hadn't met him personally yet, but we texted with Cade Dillard about the new MB Custom.
sent him a picture of it this morning.
Yeah, and
Uh,
sent him a message, told him who we were and that we were excited to start working with him and to meet him, and he said the same. He said he's going to do what he can do to help us get to victory lane next year. So
And that means
That-
more
that's
to
it.
us
That's
than anything
exciting.
else. But Mr. K. Dillard is fixing to be our new setup man,
Yeah.
in other words. And we're going to learn a lot from him. And
we hope to.
yeah. And if y'all don't know who K. Dillard is, y'all really need to look him up. He's probably going to set the world on fire this year in a super late model for the World Outlaws. He finished third in the points championship this year, so there's no telling what he's going to do
Yeah,
next year.
he's on the rise for
Yeah.
sure.
And he started out just like me. He didn't have the best, and he's in the best now. So y'all go check that out. So what are our plans for the 2021 racing season?
Win.
Well, yeah, that was our goal
Yeah.
for last season.
Well, obviously, it's a MB Customs
Yeah.
2018.
By K. Dillard Racing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a 2018
That's our
MB
plans.
Custom by K. Dillard.
Power plant will be a wall-to-wall, Mr. Ronnie Rogers.
The Money Eater strikes
The
again.
money eater is eating more money as we speak. Mr. Ronnie's putting her together.
Man,
And,
we put so much money in that motor that we could have went and bought 1.5 Mullins.
Probably so.
But now we're gonna have
hopefully
a
we
piece.
got a show enough hot rod when we get this dude back.
So-
Now, he ain't cut no corners. He's
No.
done it right, and he's helped us out a ton, and he's our engine guy.
Yeah,
So,
so that's our new
wall to
guy.
wall, Mr. Ronnie Rogers.
And I have a feeling that we're gonna have a good.
We're gonna have some video of a
Yeah,
dyno
a
here
dyno
soon. It's
and-
almost ready, so.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna have a new motor, a new car. As far as for traveling and stuff like that, we plan on racing locally traveling, but we are gonna hit a few out of state,
Yeah.
far away races,
Yeah.
probably 8 to 10 hours away.
Yeah.
So it won't be nothing for us to be in Georgia or Texas or Tennessee, Arkansas, places like that.
That's the plan.
We're not going to be traveling all the way across the other side of the country,
Yeah.
but we will be traveling 8 to 10 hours away to race. So y'all leave some comments down below of some local tracks that y'all have that we may need to visit, and if they've got a big race or something that intrigues us, we might show up. So with that being said, we plan on racing a lot of local stuff and traveling,
Yeah.
here and there.
Not points like we was talking
No.
about earlier. We're not racing for points at any racetrack. We are floating around.
We're not dedicated at any racetrack.
I love to go visit other racetracks all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do.
So there you go. We can't write out a schedule, so y'all will just know the week of where we're headed, because
That's
we
right.
we won't know until
That's right.
Thursday, Friday of that week.
Yeah.
So that's what our 2021 season looks like.
Thank y'all for all the questions.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. If we didn't touch on something that you would like to know, drop them in the comments.
What series class is this?
This is a UMP is what they call us, but we run a different tire rule than the actual UMP.
We're technically outlawed.
We're not sanctioned UMP,
Correct.
I guess is what I would say. The rules lean towards UMP. We're also US MTS legal, So
USRA.
USRA legal. So we're kind of
You can make small adjustments to this car and run 3 different.
Yeah.
We can't run IMCA. IMCA is a no-go for both of these cars.
And we're not
They're
a B
IMCA.
mod or none of that stuff.
This is a full-blown modified.
Yeah.
Big motor,
Yeah.
little tire.
Yeah.
Shock package is really whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's just free for all pretty much.
Yeah.
So no restrictions.
You got everything off of there?
That's everything.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
Thank
Thank
watching.
y'all. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
It means a ton to us.
Man,
that
not
y'all
only our
tune
sponsors,
in.
but these guys.
I'm
I
telling
mean,
you
y'all
that-
just watching
I've
this.
said this is a sponsorship right here, man. Just watching and keeping us going, making us want to make more videos. And I know there's a lot of talking on this one,
But
hope we
if
don't
the
bore you to
question-
death. Hopefully we
Y'all learned
answered
something
some
from
stuff.
us, and
If you got more questions about something, hit us
before
up.
we end this though, our YouTube did not pay for this race car. You know, a lot of people may be looking at it like, man, they started YouTube and now they just bought a race car. This YouTube did not.
No, we're
we're
in
in
a
the
couple
bottom,
$100
yeah.
a month, but we're excited about because that's a couple $100 a month
That we didn't have
that we
before.
didn't have. So
Yeah,
we're
by
thankful
no
for
means
that.
are we rich off of YouTube
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just clearing that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching. So anyways, y'all like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And y'all buy some merchandise from us. Personal messages on Facebook and we'll get you squared away. See y'all.
Later.